Hi, I'm Shashank Bhargav, and you're listening to Three Things, the Indian Express news show. The West Bengal elections that took place earlier this year were the most hotly contested ones during the entire poll season. The fight had been between the incumbent Trinamool Congress, that is the TMC, and the Bharatiya Janata Party, which was hoping to come to power. But that did not happen. It was the TMC that came back to power for a third term. And shortly after this fiercely contested election got over, a series of violent incidents took place across the state. They included acts of murder, rape, molestation, and arson. Later, a BJP candidate who had lost in the election filed a plea in the Calcutta High Court regarding this, and the court directed the National Human Rights Commission to probe the matter. In the Commission's final report that came out last Thursday, it accused the Mamata Banerjee government of letting violence prevail in the period since the results and recommended a CBI probe and trial outside the state in the serious cases. It said that thousands of people were subjected to murder, rape, displacement, and intimidation in the last couple of months, adding that West Bengal has law of ruler rather than rule of law. In the light of the probe and the post-election violence, the Indian Express recently did a series that highlighted the extent to which people in the state have suffered because of this violence. And it did so by looking at 4 separate incidents. In this episode, Ravik Bhattacharya, who writes on West Bengal politics, joins us to talk about the series. Ravik, before we talk about the series you have done for the paper, could you talk a bit about post-election violence in Bengal? I mean, the state, from what we understand, has almost always witnessed it, right?
See, violence and politics go hand in hand in West Bengal. Even before the polls, during the polls, there have been a lot of violence. A number of political party workers of BJP, Trinamool Congress, even CPM and Congress have been either hurt or murdered, injured. But after the assembly polls this time, the extension or coverage of the area of forceful violence was something which was never seen before. BJP is presently claiming that 54 of its party workers have been murdered. Trinamool is claiming that 9 of its party workers have been murdered in the post-poll violence which took place. Now, the scale of the violence was larger than any other post-poll or during the post incident series of incidents in West Bengal.
And what had been the exact allegations that were made after the elections ended and the TMC won?
See, the allegations was basically from BJP. After the results came out of the assembly polls on May 2, BJP alleged that almost in every district of West Bengal, their party workers have been murdered. They have houses have been ransacked. There have been instances of intimidation, threats, rape, and molestation. So just after the poll results came out, BJP was the only party which was alleging all this. Now, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee reacted to it, saying that the initial violence was happening when the Election Commission of India was in charge. Thereafter, according to her, there was no major incident which happened in Bengal. So Trinamool leaders too followed suit and saying that BJP is basically blowing things up, and there was not major clashes never happened in Bengal. That is what both sides were playing on.
Okay, so to understand what exactly played out, you and your colleagues have done a series for the paper in which you basically looked at 4 cases. You looked at an alleged murder, a rape, a case of houses being ransacked, and a social boycott. So let's talk about the alleged murder case first. The person who is at the center of this case is this 28-year-old man named Joy Prakash Yadav, who had been a BJP worker, I think, and who died after he was hit on the head by a crude bomb. So could you talk about when that happened and what do we know about his death?
See, this particular incident took place on June 6th. The Joy Prakash Yadav is a resident of Bhatpara. He was actually not a worker of BJP, but a supporter of BJP. His family was also BJP supporters. Basically, they were not very directly involved with politics. He never attended major rallies or something, but he was with BJP. He was a BJP supporter, and he was seen locally to participate in some small meetings. Now, on 6th June, two guys, Mr. came down here. They had an altercation. and in presence of Joy Prakash's father, mother, and sister, prime accused took out a crude bomb from his pocket and hit him on his head. So basically, his head exploded and he fell down in front of his family members. His sister actually made the audio clip of the entire incident, a very gory audio clip, which details a conversation between Joy Prakash and the miscreants, where the miscreants kept on shouting कि तुम बीजेपी करता है, तुम बीजेपी करके ज्यादा बड़ा अपने आप को सोच रहे हो. All these things were there.
घर में ढूके मार बेका पुलिस पुलिस
बीजेपी बीजेपी कर. So in this particular case, though police has said they haven't got a political angle into it, and it was basically a case of land. Now, land is also there. It is not that land. What we found out is that Joy Prakash used to stay in a land which belonged to the railway, and the miscreants, they wanted to encroach upon a portion of this land and build something. So that may be the immediate spark, but it is evident from the audio clip and as well as when we spoke with Joy Prakash family members that he was targeted because he was a BJP worker. That was ensured. Now, 4 people are accused. Out of that, 2 have been arrested by police and 2 are absconding, who are known to be Trinamool Congress leaders.
And you spoke to Joy's family. Could you talk about what this time has meant for them?
He and his father used to work for a private company. He has 2 little children. Now his family is basically shattered. BJP leaders went to his house and they gave him around 5 lakh rupees as compensation, something like that. But the family is shattered. They have never expected every year different kinds of polls, municipal polls, Lok Sabha polls, or assembly polls 5 years down the line. They used to vote for whichever party they wanted, but they never expected that things will come to this and that somebody will come and in manner in which he was killed broad daylight in front of his family member. They never expected that. They're basically shattered. Now all they want is punishment for the accused. All they're saying that the audio clip is there, police has seized the phone, the police has evidences. So all they're saying is that they want the miscreants to be punished and the 2 who are absconding to be arrested, the 2 who are basically Trinamool Congress workers.
And what does the TMC have to say about these allegations?
Trinamool Congress local leaders, when we spoke to them, they said that the miscreant who was involved with this incident was none of their members. The 2 prime accused who were seen going there and having an altercation and then finally killing him, they said that they were close to BJP, not with Trinamool Congress. Though Trinamool Congress leaders accepted the other 2 who are absconding, one of them is a Trinamool Congress worker. Trinamool Congress denied any links to the incident.
Okay, so this was the first case where you looked at the alleged murder of Joy Prakash Yadav. Now, the second case that you looked at in the series was a case of rape. The person in question is a 60-year-old woman who belongs to a village in Purva Mednipur district. What do we know about what happened to her?
See, according to her statement and statement of family members, police complaint, and our own investigation, what we found is that a day after the poll results came down, that is on 3rd May, Trinamool Congress supporters locally and some miscreants, they gathered near the house of the 60-year-old lady, where she, her grandson, her son, and her daughter-in-law used to live, and then started throwing crude bombs and started intimidating people, threatening people, because the house of this lady and some neighboring houses, they basically voted for BJP. This lady was a BJP supporter, used to go for some meetings and rallies. So that happened on May 3. Allegedly, they even threatened this family. They had a fisticuffs with the daughter-in-law, and they said that please don't go to the police. If you go to the police, then bad things will happen to you. They threatened, and they left. After this incident, this lady's son and daughter-in-law, they left the house and went to stay with a relative's house because it was not safe for them. So on the night of May 4th, around 12 o'clock, some miscreants, the 4 accused, they barged in and they basically threatened, and then one of them raped this 60-year-old lady. Her 5-year-old grandchild was basically hid under the bed. So he saw the entire incident. He is also a witness in this case. And thereafter, they tried to post pesticide into her, poison basically. So that is what happened. Then the woman fainted, and the locals took her to a local health center. From there, she was referred to district hospital. But the relatives didn't thought it was okay for her to go to a district hospital, so they took her to a nursing home where she stayed for 12 days, and then they took her to a renowned private hospital in Kolkata.
Okay, so you mentioned that there are 4 people involved in this incident. Could you talk about what we know about them?
See, one of them who's been arrested, Muhammad Usman, is a Trinamool Congress worker. The 4 accused are Trinamool Congress supporters. Muhammad Usman is a worker. The 3 others, very interestingly, are relatives of this lady. Now, according to our investigation and her statement and statement of her relatives and immediate family members, this lady and her husband, both of them, were BJP supporters since 5 years back, 2016. They voted for BJP. In 2016, after the assembly polls, this lady's husband has to leave home because he was forced out of his home because of Trinamool Congress. That is his allegation. Allegedly. On the same year in August, this lady's husband died. According to her family members, there have been a dispute over land, a plot of land between this old lady and her relatives. And her relatives were basically trying to grab the land. So, according to their family members and this lady, that her relatives, 3 of them out of the 4 accused, taking full advantage of this ire or this wrath of Trinamool Congress workers, had planned that they will come and one of them will rape her and then they will put poison her and then she'll die and then the land will go to the relatives.
And in that regard, do you find this and the previous case similar in the sense that in both cases you have an incident of extreme violence with BJP and TMC supporters involved and a possible land dispute in the mix?
Yes, here if you see Bengal politics, you will see always there have been reports of land grabbing. Even after every polls, is the trend which we have also seen during the left regime. After winning polls, the opposition party members are not only forced out of the area, their land is basically tilled by those who have won. Supporters and workers of party members who have won. We have seen instances where they put poison inside somebody's pond so that the fishes get killed. We have seen instances where your standing crop is destroyed. This is a kind of political vendetta which is going on since the left regime, but now it has taken a much wider and I think a little bit more darker manifestation at the grassroots level in the villages.
And in this case, what action has the police taken?
According to the police, the first FIR or the first complaint filed by the daughter-in-law of the victim mentions one name. He was immediately arrested. Later on July 8th, this lady was taken to the court where she gave a statement under Section 164 to the magistrate, where she mentioned 3 others, her relatives. One of them was arrested on the same day, and 2 others are absconding.
And earlier you had mentioned that she is actually in Kolkata right now, away from her home. So what has these past few weeks been like for her?
See, the part which is, I think, is most sad in this thing is that the victim cannot get back to her home. That is one part. Second is, this woman and his family has 1.5 bighas of agricultural land. They cannot till that land. That is their allegation. Now, this woman, when we spoke to her, she said that she misses her family, but she's scared if she gets back, somebody may attack her, somebody may try to influence her. Once again, somebody can lob crude bombs at her house. So that is why she's very scared. It is basically taking support from the BJP leadership that she's been kept here in an undisclosed location. No, but she's here all alone. She presently staying in a room in a guest house with a TV, a fan, a small wardrobe, a bed, and she said that she's getting good food here. But she says that her heart, lies down to her family members whom she misses and she can't see them and she wants to get back. Side by side, she is very scared that when she gets back, there may be retaliation. So that is her condition. Now, her family members, when we spoke to them, her son, her son-in-law, they all said that there is a lot of pressure at the grassroots level in their village where people have been told not to allow them to till their fields. That is the allegation they are basically putting up to Express when they Express met them.
And when talking about things like murder and rape, how many other such cases have come up in connection with the post-election violence?
See, BJP is claiming that 54 of its party members have been killed. NHRC basically puts the number to 29. For example, when you see the NHRC report, sexual harassment, rape, it comes to, I think, around 12. So these things have happened. Murder and molestation, these things have happened much more widely. Somehow it never came up to the media in the manner in which it should. Therefore, we tried to just find out 4 incidents which were highlighted in the month of June by BJP national leadership and try and investigate them that actually what happened. That is what our report tells us.
Okay, so apart from allegations of murder and rape, the other thing that has been talked about a lot is the ransacking and breaking of homes. And in that regard, you write that 40 families only in one colony located in Jadavpur, they had to flee because of this violence. And you spoke to members of 8 of these families. What kind of things did they tell you?
First of all, it was very difficult for us to give them some confidence so they'll speak to us. Most of them were unwilling; they were too scared to speak to us. But somehow we were able to meet 8 families, talk 2 over phone, and another 2 families we met on the roadside. Because they didn't want to reveal their home to us. They said we'll just meet you on the road and you just listen to us and we'll go. So here, what happened is that on the day when the results came out, around 2 in the afternoon, there were a group of miscreants, allegedly Trinamool Congress supporters, who started ransacking house after house. This happened in Jadavpur, which is very interesting, which is in Kolkata. And these 40 families, some of them either hid to neighbors' houses and watched from there to see their belongings being destroyed, ransacked, or their houses being smashed. The local BJP party office was basically turned into a rubble. So these people, some of them watched, some of them had already fled. By the middle of the night, some of them visited their houses, gathered some of their belongings, and they basically left the area. Since then, they have been initially they used to stay in relatives' houses, then they started staying in rented houses. And in one case, the youths we spoke to changed their residence, their houses 8 times. The couple we spoke to changed their residence 3 times. Now they are staring at a bleak future. They cannot go to their jobs. They don't know how long they will be kept outside. They complained that when they went to the local police station, the police refused to take their complaint, and basically they're living under fear. They fear that if once again Trinamool Congress workers see them or identify them or see where they're living, they will be targeted.
By the way, talking about the role of the police and the trouble of getting the case registered, this happened in the previous case of rape as well, right? Where the family found it hard to just get the police to file a report.
Yes. Now, this allegation against the police is recurring throughout. In this case, the 40 families said they lodged a complaint. Police did not want to receive a complaint. They went to the police station. There was basically no help from the police or the administration. That is, this family's alleged. Even family members of the rape victim, they were saying that initially police was very reluctant in taking a complaint. Then somehow they were able to lodge a complaint. Here also, there's the same recurring thing that they got no help, and basically they don't trust police too. Whenever they go to the police station, the police tells them that if I take your complaint, there will be a counter complaint, so you will also be booked. So these guys are basically scared.
And has the TMC's response been the same as it was in the previous 2 cases?
Trinamool Congress here, when we went to the area, we spoke to the local Trinamool Congress leaders and over 50 supporters who gathered there. They are alleging that the families who are on the run are basically criminals. Before the polls and during the polls, they harassed local people, they abused local people. So there was this anger building up amongst the local people against these so-called criminals. They're labeling these families as criminal families. And therefore, on the day when the election results were out, it was a spontaneous outrage of the local people who wanted them to be driven away. Another TMC leader told us that these people were scared, so they ransacked their own house and they left. There were these 2 versions coming.
And this ransacking of houses is something that seemed to have happened across the state, right?
This has happened across Bengal, where houses have been ransacked, buildings has been smashed, allegedly by Trinamool Congress supporters, and BJP workers in different parts of the state have been staying inside makeshift camps or place arranged by the BJP leadership. Even Calcutta High Court, in 1 or 2 occasions, have set up a committee and tried to make these displaced persons return to their home. In some cases, it has happened. It has happened in some districts where, after court intervention, police and administration and local leaders have been able to bring back. But in a lot of other cases, such people who have been driven out are yet to get back to their home. In fact, in Jadavpur incident, local Trinamool Congress leaders and workers especially, when we spoke to them, they made it very clear that they are not going to allow these families back again.
Okay, so from murder, rape, and this case of ransacking, we come to the 4th case, which is a case of a social boycott. You write that some BJP workers were made to cut themselves off from everything and stay inside their house. Like you spoke to Dulal Chakraborty, who lives in a village of Pachim Mednipur district. He was a victim of all of this. How did this entire social boycotting take place?
See, according to the villagers or according to the victims, couple of days after the poll results came down, local Trinamool supporters allegedly came to them and threatened them, beat up a family member, or maybe ransack a portion of the house. This happened. 2 days after that, that means 4 days after the poll results came out, local Trinamool Congress supporters came down and visited each of the 18 houses or each of the 18 families and told them that they will not be allowed to move out. They will not be allowed to go to a tea shop to have tea. They will not be allowed to go to their fields to cultivate. They will not be allowed to leave their house. They were actually told to stay in, which in Bengali we call Ghorbondi. They were told, okay, from today you are Ghorbondi, complete shut. Yeah. You have to stay at home. It's kind of a social boycott thing.
And how long did this go on for, and how did this social boycott impact Dulal Chakraborty?
See, Dulal Chakraborty is a BJP worker. Now, out of the 18, all were with CPM previously, with the left, and a few years after Trinamool came to power, they joined BJP. Only out of the 18, 2 persons who are named in the list are CPM workers, CPM local leaders and workers. Rest of them are BJP leaders or workers. Now, Dulal Chakraborty confined himself to his house for 15 days. But the other people, it was somebody who was there for 1 month, somebody was confined in his house for a little over a month. So it basically ranged from 15 days to 1.5 months when they were confined to their homes. And this impacted them. They couldn't go out. They were scared. They somehow, when I asked them, how did you get food grains? They said that somehow in the middle of the night, if my friend comes down and helped us with some grains, then the next day we cooked that. This will basically not only this fear of what will happen next, staying inside your home, but also this trauma of that you are an outcast and you cannot go out of your home and nobody will speak to you in the open. You cannot go and sit in a tea shop. This impacted the family and all other families.
And how many families were subjected to this?
18 families were basically subjected to social boycott. Now, after a period of time, when media started reporting or when a list of names in a pad of a Trinamool Congress local unit, though police has said that it is fake, came out in social media, it was then that the district police visited house to house to tell them that there cannot be something called a social boycott. They were very polite. They counseled these 18 families and told them that if something happens, they gave numbers. If something happens, please do call us up. In that way, police was active after 15 to 1 month when this alleged list on a Trinamool Congress local unit's pad became viral in social media.
Now, Ravik, you have covered West Bengal politics for 2 decades now. But while doing this series, what was something that came as a surprise to you?
I've been covering politics since the left-front government was there. Then Trinamool Congress came. What surprised me is that, see, instead of things like political murders, rapes, molestations, social boycott, instead of this trend going down, it is basically going up. This is 2021. It's a modern world. But still, if you come and you visit in Bengal, the villages, the trend of crushing your political opponent in very different ways, forceful eviction of them, rapes, murders, it is just going on. And the numbers are increasing. The numbers are not decreasing. That is what we found. And secondly, the trauma of these people, the psychological trauma of these people cannot get back to their homes for 2 months. They don't know whether they'll be able to get back. The rape victim saying that my son cannot go to the field to till their land. Families who have been confined to their homes for a month saying that I will not do the opposition politics anymore. The 18 people, 18 families were subjected to social boycott, barring 2 or 3 of them. The rest, I think we have met 8. All of them said that they are no more involved in politics. They don't want to work for BJP or whatever political party they were, the opposition. This is what to me was interesting, as that this trend which is supposed to be going down is actually spreading, is actually going up. This trend of political violence, this trend of social ostracism, this trend of ransacking people, looting people's houses by the allegedly the ruling party. And I'm sure local Trinamool Congress leaders whom we have spoken have strongly said that we don't support such acts. But then still in many places their supporters are found doing so.
And right now, all this has happened when TMC has come back to power again. And the cases we talked about are cases where TMC supporters or workers are the ones allegedly at fault. But do you think that just has to do with the fact that TMC has come back to power this time and things probably would have been similar if a different party would have been in place of TMC? Or do you think there's something about TMC in particular that makes it possible?
In my personal opinion, violence and such intimidation has become deeply rooted in the political culture of Bengal presently. I feel that whoever comes to power, if this time it is Trinamool Congress, maybe if some other political party, if they had come to power, I think there would have been political violence in Bengal. I don't rule the fact that it is only Trinamool Congress because it's about revenge also. It's about giving the opposition a lesson so that the opposition can never raise their head at the grassroots level. It's like using all means to crush the opposition spirit or voices. And I think this trend is here to stay if not all political parties and their leadership deeply think about this violence and this violent culture of Bengal politics immediately and take steps to go away from that situation.
You were listening to Three Things by The Indian Express. Today's show was written and produced by me, Shashank Bhargav, and was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it, share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can tweet us at Express Podcasts and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.